Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
This is Epilogue Podcast. My name is Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
This is our show for Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 1. Emmisary. It's the premiere double-length episode, which means it's twice as exciting and twice as long, I would guess. Introduces all the key characters, Captain Sisko, his little baby boy Jake, his wife, and she kind of gets unintroduced pretty quick. That was a bit heartless. Major Kira, Odo, Quark, Dax, Bashir, who else? Kai Opaka, Goldakat. So what happened? Starfleet, the Federation guys, take on this trashed up space station in this part of space that's got a lot of political turmoil because the Kardashians kicked the wallop out of the Bajorans for a long time, and they're all very angry. And then they find a wormhole, and it gets a little bit more interesting.
So how do you think this functions as a pilot? Do you think it adequately introduces these characters? I don't know these characters, so this is my first exposure, but I'm wondering how you're looking at it as someone who's seen the series.
I think it was actually a very strong pilot. Well, compared to the Next Gen pilot, it's way different. The Next Gen pilot is just a longer episode, but it's you know... Actually, I don't know if it is longer. Yeah, it is. But it's very kind of just normal Star Trek, whoa, we're the good guys. But in this, it's like everything's trashed. People are getting blown up by floor conduits. And
they do a good job of introducing you in the middle of things. So it feels like stuff has been happening. This world has been lived in.
Yeah. But at the same time, the space station is fairly fresh, so these people are meeting for the first time.
Yeah, it strikes that balance.
I think it's good. Some characters got the short straw. Dax and Bashir, both of them, I thought, didn't really get much. Bashir, especially, he only had a few lines, and in each one he looked like a jerk, which I think was intentional.
I'm not totally familiar with the characters yet. Which one is Bashir?
He's the doctor.
Okay, I assumed by what you said that he's a jerk. He has that horrible line, "This is where heroes are made," where he's romanticizing the deplorable condition of the place.
It's pretty cringeworthy, but I think he's actually written to be a jerk in that episode. It gets toned down, I think, but oh god, yeah, he's pretty cringeworthy.
Yeah, there's nothing redeeming about him in the pilot, at least.
Yeah, Major Kira was good. And, I missed off someone. Chief O'Brien, the Irish guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's pretty prominent.
Yeah, he was a minor character on Next Gen, and they brought him over, obviously, because he leaves the Enterprise. And Picard is all like, oh, goodbye. And he says, "This is my favorite transporter room, number 3. Like, what's wrong with transporter room numbers 2 and 1 that 3 is his favorite?
Maybe the lighting, the acoustics.
Like, I hope it's something like that. The chair squeaks. Well, they actually don't have chairs in transporter rooms.
Is that dangerous to have chairs?
I don't know. They always just stand behind the console.
Well, by then they know all of the research about sedentary lifestyles, so maybe they're just avoiding that.
Oh, it's like a work fit scheme.
Yeah, instead of a standing desk, they just got rid of chairs.
Fair enough. Okay, so what did you think of Sisko, main character, Commander? I keep saying Captain, but he's Commander Sisko.
I like that there is there's some playfulness to him. He's not just stoic. He teases his kid. You see him flirting with his wife in an old memory.
Seeing,
Yes.
an extra in the background's dong was pretty. That scene was. There were dongs there.
Well, some beaches they require that or encourage.
What prominent dongmanship?
Yes. I really liked that whole gimmick of him visiting memories through when they're in the wormhole, and then communicating through those and having to suffer through those. It works differently than just a strict flashback because he's revisiting it as well. It's not just us, the audience, and then that adds a bunch of weight to the opening scene where we see his wife die, which, yeah, it's sad, a person's dying.
Well, it's kind of not that sad when you first see it because you have no real emotional connection. I mean, Sisko's only been there for 2 minutes. And it's like, okay, it's sad that his wife dies, but realistically, I don't know these people.
Yeah, there's no investment in the beginning, but then the flashbacks or the memory revisits, those add weight and make that actually important.
Yeah, that really tied it together. What do you think of Sisko's acting?
Very stiff, weirdly stiff.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell if that was just the limitations of the actor or if they wanted that character to be that way.
I think it's a little of the Avery Brooks. I think it's a little bit him. Which is not to say he's a bad actor. He's certainly good. But he's everything about a premiere episode is usually a little bit shonky. But I think they did want the character to be quite stoic.
Yeah, and yeah, he is.
It gets a lot better. He starts acting a bit more like a human.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, who else was there? I'm going to skip over Jake because he had very little screen time. Major Kira.
The strong-willed woman.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I like that she was forward right away. Is it a Star Trek? Just a quick aside. Is it a Star Trek thing to call female Sir? So that's a non-gendered thing in Star Trek? They kept calling her Sir.
Did they? I did not notice that. That might be.
Okay, that really threw me off. They even flipped that cliche where people say, I love a man in uniform, where they're trying to depict women as just hungry for men. And then instead we hear it from a guy, I love a woman in uniform.
Yeah, Quark. We didn't see too much of him, or of Odo. What do you think of Odo?
I don't know what to make of Odo.
He's obviously a scary guy.
Yeah, just to look at him is a little scary.
Well, I mean, the guy that was looting was scared of him.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery there. I mean, he shapeshifts. He doesn't even know where he's from.
Yeah, or what he is, I guess.
That would be a weird thing to discover about yourself. Oh, I guess I can do this. That's neat.
Yeah, Daxon Bashir didn't get much screen time. Who else have I got on this list? I've just written a list of characters because I didn't know what else to do. Kai Opaka, the Bajoran spiritual leader, she was a bit odd.
Yeah.
So,
that's about as much as I have to say about her.
Yeah, she didn't get much screen time, but I was kind of... It's a bit odd that she's not very old. Like, most Earth spiritual leaders are old.
I felt as if I were in a video game when she came around.
Oh yeah, it's like a cutscene.
Yeah, she has the little secret passageway. She gives you this quest. I need you to collect these 9 orbs.
About that staircase, did you recognize it?
Oh, isn't that from Indiana Jones?
Yes.
I didn't realize that when I was watching it. I had this familiar sense when I saw it, but it didn't click until you said that.
Yep, it's the same, exactly the same set piece used in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in Castle Brunwald. Okay, there was, we saw the Cardassians for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, not the first
heavy
time
makeup.
if you watch Next Gen. Yeah, they got like little. It looks like someone's put a little thumbprint on their forehead, squished it in a bit, which might be how they make those masks. Oh, they're not really masks though. I mean, they are aliens.
I like how many aliens there are in this. It's really varied. As someone who doesn't really care for sports, I liked the baseball scene because it pointed out the absurdity of the rules and how it's all tradition and doesn't make much sense.
He came off with a pretty good explanation. I actually like that scene. You know, how you don't know until you play it.
Yeah, it worked really well for what he was trying to convey.
Okay, I'm going to talk about a few things, a few criticisms, which I might have.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, it's not that bad. Okay, so Lieutenant Dax turns up. Benjamin is all like, oh, go and find the Celestial Temple, please. And Dax says, okay, I will work it out. And then goes to the computer and says, where is it? And the computer says, in the Denarius belt. How didn't they figure that out earlier? How did the Kardashians not figure that out?
They didn't ask?
Well, they found they've got 9 of these orbs in their possession. Is it 9 or 7? And they never said, okay, where did these come from? Oh my goodness, they all came from the same place. And as soon as they go there in the runabout, they're like, let's look at the scan. Yep, there's a big old wormhole right there. It wasn't, like, difficult to find once they got near to it.
Maybe they're really, really stupid.
The Cardassians. That actually leads directly onto my next, final criticism. The Cardassians are really stupid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are written as bad guys, which is a bit of a shame because the rest of the episode did a pretty good job of portraying sort of ambiguous morality in many ways, but the Cardassians are straight out just stupid bad guys. At this point, anyway. So, Gul Jasal, or whatever his name is, says, oh, where did Gul Jasat's ship go? You blew it to smithereens without a scratch. How dare you? We're going to blow you up with 3 warships because apparently you just destroyed 1 effortlessly.
Yeah, that part was ridiculous. When that happened, I thought, okay, I realized your race is being written as a bunch of knuckleheads, but that's really too much.
Yeah. And 2 seconds later, he says, oh, well, your station couldn't even defend against 1 warship. But he just said that they blew up a warship.
And then, oh, whoops, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't. They could have killed someone. In Federation space, I think. And they were just like, well, we didn't really believe you about the wormhole, so no, never mind, bye.
One scene I liked, one quick moment, not really a scene, when Sisko's son complains about the food replicator, and it reminded me of modern complaints, how people always complain about cell phones or whatever, even though they're walking around with supercomputers in their pockets. I couldn't think of what modern convenience people would be complaining about when this debuted in the early 90s. I don't know if people were complaining about fax machines or whatever, but that is something that continues on and on. Whatever comes out, people will complain about it. Wi-Fi on airplanes, you're in the middle of the sky and people are annoyed when it doesn't function 100% properly.
No matter how brilliant you make things, people will still complain about the most trivial, ridiculous stuff. Well, I don't know. You couldn't eat anything, though.
There's no other way to have food?
That's the only way to get food and water and stuff.
Okay, that's a larger complaint then.
But then
Sisko... Yeah, it does, but Sisko teased him about it. Oh, it's broken.
Well, yeah. See, I'll be alright back. I'm just going to get swallowed by a wormhole and leave my son locked in a room with no food and water. # responsible parenting. Actually, I don't think it's responsible to take a child to that space station.
No,
He said,
not at all.
it won't be too bad. Like, it might be a bit rocky. And then half an hour later, they're getting, like, shot to bits by Cardassians. People are, like, wounded, walking wounded in the promenade. And Dr. Bashir's like, oh, phew, there was no fatalities. And Sisko's like, oh, hey, Jake, how's it going? I'm glad you're not dead.
Like my wife, who died while being near me in this line of work.
He has learned nothing. Well,
Picard doesn't seem too worried.
I was quite awkward when he went into the meeting room. And he was like, yeah, you blew up my wife. And Picard was like, yep. He didn't apologize or anything.
Yeah, he's like, that's a thing that happened.
Like, I can understand how he wouldn't want to apologize, because technically it wasn't. Like, if you haven't seen it, the Borg take him and use him as a machine of war, because he understands how the Federation work. So it genuinely was not his fault, but you think he could still be like, I'm really sorry. I wish that hadn't happened.
So, did that work as a bridge between this series and Next Gen? Is that why they did that? Or
Yes.
Okay.
That actually happens in the Next Gen two-parter. And then a few seasons later, Deep Space Nine started, and they used that as a hook. Although when it happened in Next Gen, Sisko was not seen on screen. In fact, a lot of the battle was not seen. I think it was mostly shown from Picard's perspective on board the Borg ship. But yeah, it is a hook back to something that actually happened on Next Gen.
I figured that, and it works well now that I know that, to hook to Next Gen, but it also works for new viewers. I don't even know if they cared about this, or if they just assumed all viewers would be familiar with Star Trek, but as someone who's never seen much of Star Trek at all, this worked well for me as a pilot episode. When Sisko was saying, I exist here, or the whatever that thing was in the wormhole was saying it, I can't remember.
You exist here. Why do you keep bringing us here? And
Yeah.
he finally agrees, I guess.
I initially misinterpreted that, and I thought, oh no, is he going to be dead? And then this whole episode was just his consciousness transported somewhere, and then this was all imagined. And I'm glad that's not what happened. Yeah.
That would be a fucking terrible pilot.
Yeah. If that's what the show was, I would have told you I will not watch any more of this.
I would have agreed.
I mean, I quickly figured out, oh no, that's not what they're saying, but I had this quick moment of sheer terror that, oh no, this is just an awful show.
You don't bust out the It Was All a Dream episode as episode 1.
No one would see it coming.
Well, I guess, but that's... there probably has been a show that's done that. One thing that made me giggle was when Dax and Sisko get off the runabout in the wormhole. Well, first of all, they're like, oh, it's atmosphere outside. Let's just open the door then.
Oh yeah, that was so silly.
Don't think, oh, maybe it's a computer error. What if anything had gone wrong, they would be dead. They have no other backup supplies. They didn't put on spacesuits or anything. They just, computer says it's okay, so let's just get out, despite the fact that denies everything we know about space travel, I guess. But then they saw the different landscapes. But what made me giggle was that the landscapes were not the same. Sisko saw big canyons and Dax saw lush meadows. But if Dax had walked over the canyon, it should be levitating, in Sisko's view.
Yeah, I wanted one of them to exist in the empty space of the other person's to see what would happen.
Walk into a wall or something.
Yeah, who has the real perspective, if anyone?
I think it was neither of them, because it was a trick. So, what are you looking forward to from this show? No doubt everything, because clearly it's bringing it all to the table.
More discussions, as the one Sisko had about linear time. Stuff like that, learning more about these characters. As you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of ambiguity with the morality of these people. They talked about, well, not talked about, but it's about occupiers versus occupants, which is very relevant to now. Does it matter if you go in with good intentions, if you're trying to rule over these people? And just seeing how those dynamics play out. So it's a really good premise, really good setup. And I want to see what weird hologram stuff and wormholes they get into.
Awesome. I've seen it before, so I know what I'm looking forward to, but I won't say.
Why did you want to watch Deep Space Nine again?
It's a great show. It's not every episode is brilliant. Some of them are terrible. One of them is offensively bad. So there's something I'm kind of looking forward to. But it's a long way off.
That would be great if I didn't even recognize that it was offensively bad and I enjoyed it.
Oh, well. We'll see. But you'll say immediately, this is the one, isn't it? This is the offensive one.
Now you're putting me on the spot. Now I feel as though I have
to it's like 100 episodes away or something.
Spot it.
So
okay.
Don't worry. It's not for ages. Alright, I guess let's wrap. Any final words of wisdom?
We cannot give you what you deny yourself.
Oh, that's actually...
pretty good words.
Yeah, it's a bit obvious though.
Yeah.
Alright.
Also, I cheated. It's from the episode.
Yeah, well, that's not cheating. That's what we're discussing.